have our monthly webinars where we try to provide resources to help disadvantaged businesses and empower them. And right now we have a guest speaker that we're very, very excited about and to learn is Salico. It's a private nonprofit organization that helps with any type of workforce development and provides subsidized programs. And today's guest speakers, there's two, it's Ben Sandoval and Chris Rogers. Welcome, and explain what all the goodies you might have for a lot of business owners out there.
Yes, well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us. My name is Ben Sandoval. I am the Business Services Manager with Salico Workforce Development Board, a private nonprofit here in the state of California, but more importantly, located in the Southeast LA region. With me, I have Chris Rogers as well. Chris?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having us.
Perfect. And we're very excited today to share quite a few different projects we have here, initiatives, grants that might benefit your business, and maybe you're not a big business or even a small proprietor. We have career services available for you, which we'll be kind of discussing. And our overall presentation shouldn't have been too long. Give us 10 to 15 minutes to cover everything we need, and then we'll stay for a couple Q&As after the fact. So what is Workforce Development Board? Some of you are thinking, well, what is it? How do you guys get funded? We are a federally funded private nonprofit agency which was signed in law in 2014, but we've been existing since 1980. It's just gone through different initiatives depending on the presidential administration. They may change the name, add more services. But what was really intriguing about WIOA, before it was the WIA, Workforce Innovation Act, now it's the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. It included businesses, small businesses, big businesses. Prior to WIOA being established, it was very job seeker led. Job seekers had the right of way, the support services, the funding. Well, they realized that without businesses, there is no job seekers. So that is where WIOA came into play. And there is a variety of different subsidized grants available, which we're going to portray here. But as Andrea was speaking earlier in the introduction, we are federally funded, and there's 45 of us in California. So for wherever you may be virtually today, or if you're listening to this in a pre-recorded session, you're going to see that there's 45 in California. 7 happen to be in here, LA County region. We service the southeast portion. There's 6 other ones, which I'll mention just for thought if you needed those assistance. LA County Workforce, LA City, Verdugo, Foothill, South Bay, Pacific Gateway, and Salico. What are the industries we specialize in? Each workforce specializes in different sectors. Why is that? Because LA City might focus more on the film industry or education side. Here at Salico, we focus on these sectors: manufacturing, trade and logistics, hospitality, healthcare, but then we have subsectors: mental health, veterinarian, business and professionalism, followed by information technology. Now, these are the sectors we're going to heavily focus on if a business were to contact us. Funding priority, well, these are the sectors we're going to focus on. It's not to say if you happen to be in a different industry or you might not think your business falls within these sectors, we will still service you. Now, just food for thought here, as we're all aware, in California, it's very fluid. Our industries are changing just like that. Some of you, I'm not sure if I can see show of hands because it sounds like we're on a panel mode, but anybody's heard the blue sector? That is a sector that is being evolved drastically here. It's about discovering the ocean. There's minerals all over the place, and that's going to be a sector that's going to be heavily invested on. So for small businesses, if you're looking to grow or think to yourself, where should I get into? Look at first, what is your local city doing economic development, and what businesses are they bringing into your city? You will realize that right now the biggest focus are these ecosystem housing units that they're building. The governor just announced that there's no longer parking needs to be part of the floor plan. So what does that mean? Is going more into a European field. Why does that matter to you? Because you need, as a business, need to realize as a business is no longer people coming to you. You're going to have to go to the people in order to make money. That's truly the way it's working out, folks. And if you don't see this, you're sleeping in under a rock. Amazon already has these robots bringing shipment to you. And in 5 to 10 years, when not everyone owns a car, because that's exactly where this is going, folks, 2035, all gas vehicles are gone from California. Why does that matter to you? Because you need to stay fluid as a business. And this is where industry sector falls into play. And I'm going to kind of move through these fairly quickly so I can give Chris an opportunity to speak as well. But you might be asking yourself, what services does Celico offer? How can they help me as a business? Well, I'm glad you're thinking that virtually. Paid work experience, subsidized employment. This is where Celico pays 100% of the wages. With our partnership with Minorea, we've been able to partner up to offer a great variety of those work experience components. You're not liable. Celico is liable. We are the employer on record. That's right. We're giving you someone between 200 to 500 hours at no cost, depending on the grant. We have countless amount of grants, so every single one's different. On the job training, if you wanted to hire someone, we would be able to reimburse up to 50% of the actual placement. So not only can you do a paid work experience, we would cover an additional percentage. So you can get 2 subsidized assistance for 1 individual. And you might be asking, so well, how do I qualify? How do I get some of this? For every 5 employees, we'll do no more than 2 or 3 individuals placed there. Just an FYI. We are also getting into apprenticeship work. If any business here right now would like to be part of one of the apprenticeship programs, please contact us. We are going to focus on the healthcare field. There is going to be in a month's of funding available for businesses interested in apprenticeships. The governor has announced that he would like to get 500,000 apprenticeships in 2018. Well, guess what? We're not even halfway there yet. We're about 120. So this is going to be a big focus in California the next 2 to 4 years. So as a business, you will be hearing a lot of organizations talking about apprenticeships. Just like Minorea does, we also offer entrepreneurship assistance. If you have a business, you want to utilize our services here, meet here, have some meeting space for a couple of days out of the week, we can also do that. If you have a business right now, you want to upgrade the skills of your current workforce, you want to get some good soft skill training, the hard skills, that tends to be one of the hardest things. For any current employees, we would be able to assist them on non-priority sectors. I want to make that very clear because Chris will be talking about priority sectors. This will be also non-priority. Labor market information. You may have been asking yourself earlier, well, how did I know ocean blue sector, green sector? That is what Celico Ocas focuses on. Innovation, what's coming 5-10 years from now, not what happened 5 years ago, what's happening 5-10 years, so we stay up to date, we stay innovative, and we stay fluid. So we have a variety of different formulas that we use. One of them is our Econoview system. So if you're looking to open a business, like a jam business, for example, we can help you to tell you, well, you know what, that's a great niche, but there's 500 other jam businesses around you. Are you able to stay afloat for 5 years? Are you willing to take a loss for 5 years? Do you have a business plan? That is what Celico also assists with. So we can, and just so everyone know, we have business certified consultants. I am one of them, a certified business consultant. So anybody looking for assistance, we can do that. Best part, at no cost to you. Business Services Resource Center, that's kind of what I talked about. Our little incubators, if you're familiar with WeWork, or there's one brand new one in Bellflower. I can't think of on top of my head, Iron Fire. Very similar concept. You can have your business here 1 to 3 times a week, get off the ground. After 6 months to a year, you're on your way. But at the first 6 months to a year, you don't have to pay for meeting space, phone, making copies. Great resource. And I'm going to almost finish up here on my end. So bear with me, everyone. I want to make sure I covered bulk of the items because these are services that many individuals are not aware of. We want to make sure that's not the case anymore. If you ever have any job openings, you can't find anyone for the life of you, please contact us. We can fill that void. The best part, we're not a staffing agency. We're not going to charge for the service. You can contact us right away. And we also do recruitments in person or in virtual. You have an office assistant position, you can't find no one. Perfect. Let us know. We can fill that void once again. Anybody that's currently on unemployment or looking for work, we can pull up their information through CalJobs, suppress their resume, meaning extract their resume and send it over to you. If your business is I hate to say it, going to lay off some individuals. Inflation's hitting everyone very hard. We've seen businesses starting to lay off. Let us work with you, see if we can take some of those burdens off your chest. How so? Depending on the land you work in, we can talk to the leaser, we can bring in the county, state, whoever owns the actual land. SBDC, SBA, SCORE, SoCal Edison to help you stay and keep your employees. Rapid response. I'm sorry, let me go back here. Rapid response. If you're going to be closing your business and leaving California, we can also come in and try to alleviate some of that. And I'm going to finish up here with career services. If there are any job seekers right now on this line, you've been at home for a while, you've been at home since COVID probably, you're looking to get back into the workplace, please reach out to Celico or to any of your job centers. There's subsidized employment for you. We will pay for your training. You want to get a 4-year education. You want to get a short-term training. You need book assistance, support services, housing. Anybody experiencing housing displacement, we can assist you with that. And just to name some of the grants, we have the prison to employment. You can put 2 and 2 together. What that means, the home to employment program. These are individuals that are experiencing barriers, have barriers. We want to work with those individuals because those individuals are going to have the hardest time finding employment. Let us work with them. Or maybe you have a master's degree. You want to get a job? Great, we can assist you as well. So that's just in a nutshell. And I went through it fairly quickly here because it's good at time, but on my end, but I want to make sure at least I cover bulk of the items. So I will stay here for the Q&A, but I want to hand it over to Chris so she can talk a little bit about her ETP portion. But before I transition it over, just be aware that everything I have mentioned, it's at no cost to the business. Every single workforce operates completely different. Although we are under the same umbrella, we may offer very similar services. What Celico may offer might be completely different than another workforce. Why is that? Because every workforce may pursue different grants, may have different initiatives, may want to focus on something other than apprenticeships, for example. So something to keep in mind as you're contacting other workforce boards, similar different services, but we're all here to assist you. Chris, I'm going to hand it over to you and take us through a nice whirlwind of ETP.
Thanks so much, Ben. That was a great rundown of our WIOA programs.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, Andrea, did you have a question? I'm sorry, before we continue.
Actually, I just wanted to, I sort of wrapped the introduction a little too fast. And I just wanted to clear things up of how the communication process is going to go with the audience. So I just want to address that before we continue, Chris. Down on the bottom, there's a tool. There's 2 options. There's a Q&A section and then there's a chat section. Usually the chat section is if in case you have any technical issues, Mauricio, who is our marketing director, is the one that usually takes care of those situations. But the Q&A at the end of the presentation is open for anyone to, if during the session you have any questions, write it down, and by the end of the presentation we'll talk about those questions and we'll answer them. I just wanted to address that because sometimes I was supposed to do that.
No worries, Andrea. We got we got so excited that I didn't even properly introduce myself. I don't think Chris we did as well. Can I give you a quick background for those that are asking yourselves, well, who are we speaking to? So I have been in workforce for 10 years, have been the business services manager for 3 years, but within that time frame, I have worked with over countless thousands of businesses through a variety of different services. So rest assured, and I can't even name the amount of individuals that I've placed over thousands of well. So we understand what we're talking about when it comes to workforce development, just giving you more of credibility of who we are and what we do. And Chris, I'll hand it over to you if you wanted to add more on your end and then get the ETP portion started. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And I guess I should introduce myself as well. I'm Chris Rogers. I'm the business engagement specialist for our ETP program here at Celico. I've been with the company for about 6 months now, and I come from social services. So I'm very familiar with a lot of these different programs that we've been working with from the other side of it as well. So Ben did a great job of laying out our WIOA programs and the services that we offer to businesses and to job seekers. In addition to that, we also have a state-funded program called ETP, which is the Employment Training Panel. So ETP is a program that was started in the 80s when we saw a lot of our businesses leaving the state because they just couldn't be competitive with their out-of-state rivals. And so they came together and formed a panel and decided that the best way for them to help these businesses was to provide training to the companies. So it allows for select California companies to get upskills training, usually at little or no cost. And so this helps the California companies stay here in the state. We're going to keep the tax dollars here. They're going to be able to be competitive. It's going to help our workforce. So unlike some of our other programs, ETP is not a grant program where you get your funding up front. We have to prove to the panel that we've earned our funding. So they approve us for our funding and we have to actually go through the training and we don't get paid till almost the end. So it runs a little bit differently as far as the funding goes, but it's another great program that can really help some of our businesses. Next slide. So how do you qualify for ETP? Not every company can take advantage of ETP training. There are certain qualifications. You have to be a California-based company. You've got to be paying your state income taxes and your payroll taxes. You've got to be up to date on that. It has to be a business that's facing out-of-state competition because that's what the program was designed to target. And then ETP also has priority industries. So the ones that we focus on are manufacturing, construction, agriculture, information technology, utilities, and logistics. We can help smaller businesses that are in other sectors. They have to have 100 or fewer employees to qualify. Next slide. So once the company gets qualified, there are also qualifications for each specific trainee. You've got to be a full-time employee, so that's considered 35 hours or more a week. You have to be paid through company payroll and have state taxes being paid on your payroll. And then there's a minimum wage requirement. So right now, our new minimum wage for this year is $21.73 in LA County. That wage does vary slightly on county. But it can be subsidized. So if the employer is paying fringe benefits, you can use up to $2.50 an hour of the fringe benefits, which would bring it down to $19.23, I think. But you have to be making at least that minimum per hour. Another thing is that all of the trainees have to complete at least 8 hours of training before we can get paid for them. So if you do 7.5 hours of training, none of those hours will count. After 90 days after the last date of training, the state does a retention test to make sure that the trainee is still employed. If they don't maintain that employment for 90 days, none of their training hours are going to count. So we have 2 different methods that we can use for training for ETP. Next slide. The first one is reimbursement. So if a company is doing their own training, they have an internal trainer, we can come in and provide reimbursement for the training that they're doing. The rate that we pay is $14.76 per training hour, and that doesn't come until after all the training is completed. So it's a little bit more of an offset rather than the way some of the grants work. But if you're already doing training and you think you might qualify, it's a great thing to take advantage of. And of course, the more training you do, then the more money you can earn for your company. The other way that we do training is usually a no cost. Sometimes it's a low cost training, but we can hire a trainer. We have trainers through some of the universities, some of the community colleges, and then also individuals that are coming straight from the workforce and from training. We have trainers available in all different types of training, and whatever it is that you need, we can find a trainer for that. As long as you can get 15 people into your training class at a time, and you're training for a 2-hour block, that training is usually going to be free to the company. So this is another great way to provide training for companies. And you can also combine. So you may have one training you want to do that you feel like there's someone in the company that has the skills to provide that training. And then there's another type of training you want to do that you need a trainer for. It doesn't have to be all one or the other. You can do a combination of those. So some of the types of training that we do is lean manufacturing, management, leadership, project management. We can do manufacturing skills, English as a second language. We can do OSHA, computer skills, continuous improvement, supply chain management, communication skills, job readiness skills, including soft skills. So these are some of the topics that we train in. We find that most of the training that our companies are doing and wanting is going to fit somewhere into those topics, and we're going to be able to provide it, unless it's something like state mandated sexual harassment or new hire training. Almost everything else we can find a way to make it work. Next slide. So how does the referral process work? Well, of course, there's documentation. The first thing that we need to do is a certification statement, which is going to give us the information that we input into the state system, which allows us to see if you are qualified to participate in the program. Throughout the program, there's going to be more paperwork. I'm not going to go through that in depth, but if you think that your company may qualify, you're interested in training, and you're willing to do the paperwork, give us a call and see if you qualify. We have an ETP hotline at 562-484-5033, or shoot us an email at customizedtraining@celico.com. Next slide. This is our address. We are open Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, and we would love to have you stop by, see what we can do for you.
Perfect. And thank you for that, Chris. And exactly what Chris kind of covered is very similar to the incumbent worker training. And there were 3 items that on my end, I got so excited, I left it on the ship, but I went back to the ship, got the items, and I'm back on land. And I'm going to explain what those are. Our youth services. As an employer, if you're looking to host a youth, we would be able to reimburse their employer at no cost up to 500 hours. 500. These are youth between their 16 to 24. So if you're looking to be a work site, maybe you're a small virtual business, or you're looking to kind of grow, but just don't have the manpower to do so, your workforce agencies can help you with that at no cost. And we're placing the people with you for a couple months. And if you want to hire them, great. But you know what the best part about it is? We're not coming back at you telling you, hey, you need to give us $5 per hour for every person. No, we're paying them ourselves. They're under our workers' comp. So if it sounds too good to be true, don't worry, it is true. So we are here for that. Reverse referrals. You may have people right now, you're like, you know what, after this presentation, I'm ready to get this going. I want to send little Johnny or little Susie today. Perfect. Give us a call. We'll find a way to make them qualify, in a sense of, if they don't qualify for our program, we have what's called our on-ramp partners. We will direct them somewhere, whatever that may be. We have countless of different partners. all the big ones you can think of, down to the community colleges, UCs, down to more core services. Is it someone that needs rehab or needs to go to a one-nighter or needs a voucher for housing? All those services Celico offers. Another reason we are called the one-stop center. We don't want you to go to multiple locations and having to travel when gas is almost, I don't know, is it almost at $10 right now? It looks like every day is going up at 10 cents. So we understand that. Come in, everything you need in regards to employment and training, you can find right here. And then this kind of concludes a little bit our presentations. We are here for some questions. And then last but not least, we do want to thank our beautiful 8 cities for their continuous support to Celico, and more importantly, to Minorea for allowing us to be here this afternoon, this morning actually, and present on our services. Now, I know what we presented today is a lot to take in. I've been here for 10 years and I'm still learning some of the WIOA stuff. So don't worry. We'll send, I believe Minorea has some one pages that they can send. If not, we'll send them over, but we'll hear for some Q&As and I'll pass it over to Andrea. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. That was very informative. That was a lot of information. If for any reason you need more information and you need to get a hold of Celico, they already provided information, but if you want to circle back, we are available to help you and make that connection, or you can connect directly with Ben and Chris. Thank you so much for that information. Now, I guess we're gonna go into answering any questions if you guys are ready. So let's see. Let's look at the questions. Okay, we have a question from John. How can I apply to training programs and have staff for my business? My business is welding.
No, thank you, John, for the question. So if you're looking for training programs, we have a variety of different ones, which I just mentioned, but if you can, I just put my email there. If you can email me and we'll schedule something, because we do customized training as well. What do I mean by that is what we're going to offer to you, we understand is not what we're going to offer to a big business or another business, very customized to the individual business. So what that is, I don't know what that is, John, or what kind of business you have, but it sounds like you're kind of in the manufacturing realm, which is great. As a matter of fact, ETP specializes on that. So I'm very glad you brought that up. If you can just contact me, I'll be more than glad. But in regards to also staff, we reimburse you for the staff. We place the staff there. If you interview someone and you're like, I really like them a lot, but you know what? I just can't afford the in-kind costs right now. Maybe give me 3 months. Why not just start them now? We'll give the 3 months. So that's how we can serve you, John. So feel free to contact me so we can learn more about your needs and wants.
Okay, thank you, Ben. I also had a question. It doesn't seem like we have, or let me look at the chat. Sometimes they include that on the questions, but there is a lot of our audience is in the construction trade. And I just wanted to see if maybe you can elaborate a little bit of the resources you have in the construction trade, because I know you talked a little bit about apprenticeship and how is it that they can work with Celico in acquiring personnel and talent for their business.
One of the hardest sectors to grab or have people come to your work is construction. That's one of the hardest sectors to have, and that's the biggest void that I've realized dealing with business. I'm sure Chris has as well. Why is apprenticeship important to you as a business? Wouldn't you like to get a work-ready, soft and hard skills employee? That's the number one question that I've been hearing from businesses is this: I don't even care about the hard skills. What does that mean? They're able to use the computer, Excel, PowerPoint, Canva. They just want someone that knows how to show up on time, can pick up the phone. Through apprenticeship work, not only going through all the soft skills, our local CSU community college or adult school writes the curriculum for you. What is the business looking for? What do you want? Tell us verbally. We write the curriculum, and the person goes through a 1,400-hour apprenticeship training with your company, subsidized at a certain percentage. What that looks like, every single thing is every apprenticeship is different. Is that 50% for the full 1,400 hours, 100%? Everyone's gonna vary, but I think the biggest thing you need to, as a construction business, would be a work-ready individual in that field that's had not only the passion, but the NC3 training as well, which is the building trades certification course that they go through. And then they go through the apprenticeship training. So as they're working with your business, they're going to school as well. It's a win-win situation.
Yes, that's amazing, because one of the biggest challenges, I think, in business in general is that the cash flow, right? And making sure that you have enough time to train. And then the challenge is, if you identify a person and you train them, are you gonna be able to retain them, right? Or is that person gonna stay? And sometimes that really hurts a business, especially in the construction industry, because usually a lot of the contractors out there have challenges when it comes to cash flow. So you are providing your subsidized programs and the workforce development center and Salico is really providing an alternative and a very strategic approach into solving a lot of those issues that they might have. So I'm very, very happy that you guys participated on this, and to have you as guest speakers. It's an amazing privilege, and we hope that our partnership is going to help a lot of businesses out there. Whenever there's any other types of programs that you might want to relate to us, you are welcome to participate with Minoria as well. And of course, we're going to stay in connection and communication to be able to help with any options that these businesses might have and collaborate together that way.
Thank you, Andrea, for having us. And if I may, I'm going to say one more thing here, and then I'll conclude. I just want to make sure I covered it. I mentioned many different programs, many different backgrounds. In construction, a lot of these individuals are not going to be going to you. They're coming to Salico for X variety of reasons, because they have to be here. They want to change their lives, X, Y, Z. Why is that important for you as a construction world? Because we have the individuals that we can send to you. We are currently working with many construction companies, but just one, I won't say by name, but very locally here in the city of Norwalk, they've been able to hire, I think, with up to 8 people in the last 4 months through Salico, because those are the kind of individuals coming through our door that want to get into that particular field. So just food for thought on that, Andrea. I have no other comments or anything like that. Thank you for having Salico Workforce Development Board. It's a pleasure. We'll always be around. And Chris, any final words on your end?
Thanks so much for having us. We really enjoyed this.
Likewise.
Thank you. Thank you. Then for our audience, thank you for your participation. We'll see you next month. We do have these webinars and these free resources, free education, and a lot of opportunities to solve any challenges you might have. So stick with us for next month, and we'll share with you our topics shortly, probably in a week, and make sure to register for our upcoming webinars. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.